Hey, Sam Crowley, trying to maximize time here. Wow. Wow. I can't believe I'm stuck in traffic. This is going to be a while. So I'm going to shoot video number 3 of the Quit My Job series from my car, stuck in rush hour traffic. I'm literally not moving right now. I never, ever am out between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. At least when I say out, I mean like out on highways or where potential people, corporate slaves trying to get to the slave camps, trying to commute to and from work. I've avoided that for 8 years, man. And now it is 5:57 on a Tuesday evening, and I'm just stuck, man. I'm going like 20 miles an hour in a 55 mile an hour zone, and I just actually got off the highway heading home. So anyway, what does all this have to do with you? Well, that has everything to do with you, because we're shooting this series called Quit My Job. And again, let me put the disclaimer out there. It's only for people that want to quit your job. You love your job, we love you because you love your job. But a lot of people don't. And this is one big reason why. We're moving kind of pretty good right now, actually. That's good. Don't worry, I'm not going to crash the car or anything. But if I did, it'd make for a great reality video. Wasted time. That's the topic for today. Wasted time. I look back, and I want you to put yourself in the same situation, especially if you have a job right now. How much time do you waste in traffic? I mean, just traffic. I'm not talking about all the other stuff that goes on, the silliness of a job, water cooler talk, sitting in stupid meetings that don't mean anything, talking about meetings, to have a meeting, to have another meeting, all that stuff. Just think of the commute alone. Just think that if you could actually be in control, because being an entrepreneur means being in control, right? I mean, you want to be in control. Really, being an entrepreneur means so much more than owning a business. It means being able to really see the unseen, to take action, man, when everyone else is taking refuge, to see obstacles, and instead of seeing obstacles, you see opportunities. And this silliness here, being stuck in traffic, man, this is absolutely nutty. So think of all the time you waste, and what could you be doing? For example, back in my old slave camp days, I would get up at 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. Didn't have to be to work till 8 o'clock, but I got up at 4 because I wanted to maximize my time. And I wanted to get into work, get a lot of work done before everybody else got there. But I didn't want to be stuck in traffic. But even with that being said, it was a 30-minute commute from my home to my office. And then when I would leave at the end of the day, I would leave around, I couldn't help what time I left. So it'd be about 5:30, something like that. And it would I would just be stuck in a sea of cars, man, a parking lot on Interstate 71 heading north out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And that was it. Every day, every single day, forever. I couldn't leave at 3 o'clock, couldn't leave at 2 o'clock. I didn't want to stay till 8 o'clock when traffic died down, so I left at 5 o'clock, and it would take me an hour to get home, sometimes longer, sometimes a little less. Just think about that. Just think about the time wasted. What could you be doing? When I started thinking about leaving my job, I thought, how can I maximize what we call windshield time? How can I take the time when I'm staring at my windshield and maximize that? And instead of being mad and upset and angry that I'm stuck in traffic, how can I take that, turn it around, and have that be a time where it could actually give me a return on my investment, the amount of time in my car? So I thought, I'm going to go and I'm going to buy stuff. I'm going to buy as many audios as I can get my hands on and just motivate the crap out of myself. Because when I left work at the end of the day, I was like when you wring water out of a towel. It's just, I was just a wet noodle, man. I mean, I was so drained of any energy. I would come home, no joke. My wife Angela and I, before we had kids, this was around the late 90s, 2000. Our daughter Madeline was born in 2001. Before we had kids, right around the late 90s and 2000, I would get home after being up at 3:30, 4 in the morning. I would get home at 6. I would eat dinner, and I would have this full stomach, and I would go to bed. We'd eat dinner at like 6. My wife's a dynamite cook. And I would have this whole stomach full of food, have maybe just a little conversation. Now, keep in mind, in 1999, I was 31 years old. I mean, I was in the prime, supposed to be in the prime of my life. Although I feel at the age of 45, I'll be 45 June 29th this year, 2013. I feel like I'm in the prime of my life, but that's because I feel like I've been reborn. You know, do you have any idea that when you quit your job, you start a whole new life? Like, it ain't about just, you know, kind of picking up where you left off. No, it's like being reborn. I mean, anybody that knows me, I am not even close. And I can't, you think of two further ends of a spectrum, I am not even close to the same person I was when I had a job 8 years ago. I don't have any of the same friends. I don't have the same relationships. I don't even have any of the same thoughts. You know, I saw The Matrix for the first time just this weekend. Think about that. I saw The Matrix for the first time. This, as the date of this recording of this video, it's June 11th, 2013. And I just saw The Matrix. I'm glad I didn't see The Matrix when it came out in the late 90s, because I wouldn't have got it. It wouldn't have resonated with me. This guy, Tony Rush, that I'm friends with, said it best. He said, you know, Sam, because he couldn't believe I'd never seen it either. He said, you know, The Matrix is actually a documentary. It ain't a sci-fi flick. That's a documentary. That's how much he believes it exists. And you know, now that I've been an entrepreneur and I've unplugged from The Matrix, I believe it's a documentary. And I believe you need to unplug from The Matrix. Don't worry, I'll get back to that, you know, late 90s story I was on about getting home at 6 and eating a big dinner. But just think about that. Everybody right now in a job, I am on I-275, trying to head back to my home in Loveland, and I'm going 26 miles an hour right now. And the speed limit's 65. Everybody that I'm looking at, I wish I could show you all of the disgruntled looks on everybody's face. I mean, they are just pissed off. I mean, they look like this, right? And they're all mad and they're all herky-jerky. I'm in the far right lane going 27 miles an hour. Couldn't be happier. I'm in no hurry. This morning we went to Kings Island with my kids like we do every morning, rode roller coasters for 2 hours. That's a good start to a day, right? I get up at 5:30, have coffee with my wife. I'm going to get back to that story in the late 90s about going to dinner or eating dinner at 6 at night. Don't worry about that. But I got a lot on my mind. I got a lot to talk about. Damn it. Let's talk about quitting a job. This is serious stuff. You got to understand. This is serious stuff, man. This isn't, we're not joking around. I like to joke around and have a lot of fun and stuff, but I get up at 5:30, have coffee with my wife. We talk about the previous day, the upcoming day, what we got going on. Kids get up. I go into my little office, get a lot of work done on my laptop from about 6:30 till 8:45. And then I take the kids to Kings Island. We got season passes. We ride roller coasters from 9:30 a.m. till noon, and then the park is just crazy. Lines everywhere, getting hot and humid. We leave. Kids come home. Angela, my wife, takes over. She, you know, does whatever they do, have a great time. I go back to my quote-unquote job after I have lunch. Think about that morning, though. I went from just the description I gave you. Think about that. Getting up at 4 a.m., going into work, stuck in traffic, to a place I loved a lot of the people there. I'm not saying anything bad about the people necessarily, but I had no control. I just had to be there every day. Into an environment I absolutely hated, right? And I grew to hate it, I don't mean hate it like in a, you know, vitriolic, like I wish bad things on people that were there. I just mean I wanted so much more from my life. Don't you want so much more? Like, don't you get it about The Matrix, for example? Doesn't that resonate with you 1,000% that you got to unplug from that and you have unbelievable powers and talents? We talked about on the last video, you got to create something. Did you create anything? Nah, didn't have time. Had family visiting, graduation parties, went a picnic, went traveling. Well, look, it just ain't a big deal to you then. I mean, quitting a job isn't a big deal. That's okay. For most people, they're all talk. Very few people know how to back that up with action. But I'm telling you, when you unplug from The Matrix and you get after it, man, I saw that movie Saturday. I thought literally I was going to run up and down my living room walls. That's how much of an impact it had on me. But anyway, getting back to this whole wasting time concept. My life now, think about that, riding roller coasters in the morning. I'm a 45-year-old man. What the hell am I doing riding roller coasters? I mean, that's silly. That's stupid. Nobody should do that. Nobody should ride roller coasters when you're full. Or should they? Or should they? Think about that. Think about that. What would my former bosses think if I said, hey guys, I'll be in a little later. I'm just going to go ride some roller coasters. Yeah, okay. That'll work out well. That'd go over well. So, back in the late 90s, getting back to this story, we'd have dinner about 6 o'clock, my wife and I. We should be out dancing, going to bars, having fun, going to sports games, baseball games, football games, travel. We should be doing all that. I shouldn't be going to sleep like someone just shot me with absolutely no energy and going to sleep at 7 o'clock for the night. But I did. It's so stupid. So I thought about this whole wasting time concept. And I thought, I'm just going to motivate. I'm just going to go crazy. You know what? I think I'm just going to lose my mind. I'm just going to go nuts. And I'm already insane by going to a job every day. If I keep on this hamster wheel for the next 10 years, I'm going to be fat, bald, and out of breath. So I'm just going to go crazy. Now, crazy to me at the time meant, start doing some crazy stuff. Buying some rental property. I was looking at buying gumball machines. That's in my book, too. If you don't know my book, you need to buy it on Amazon.com. No more work days to journey to make an everyday Saturday. There's a guy literally riding up the right side of me in the right lane trying to get over. He's that mad about not being home to see his family. I'm going 21 miles an hour in a 65 now. We've actually slowed down. So, look at this. I'll just show you. Check it out. This is the traffic. This is the traffic that I'm in right now. Check that out. All right? So, just in case you thought I was lying. And everybody behind me, you can't see, but it's crazy. So, let me get back to the camera here. This is awesome. It's probably the greatest video series you've ever seen. Unfiltered, no editing, just a guy with a bad buzz cut and sunglasses screaming into your camera. It's awesome, dude. It's so awesome. So I thought I'd go crazy. I was gonna buy some gumball machines and blah. Blah blah blah. I was a guy that bought the magazines, watched the infomercials. Any business was a good business for me as long as it didn't mean having a job. So I would just listen to Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Bob Proctor. Oh, God. I can't. Robert Kiyosaki, greatest book I ever read. First personal development book I ever read. Think and Grow Rich. Had an amazing impact on my life. And none of these people had a job that I just mentioned. I mean, they all had a job at one time, and you should have a job at one time to realize what it is you don't want to do. Oh, my God. Some guy just blew a tire. Holy cow. Check this out. That guy in the Cintas truck has to get over. We're in a 65 mile an hour. He just blew a flipping tire in the left rear of his truck. Oh my God. And it shot all over my windshield. Dude, wow, wow, seriously? I thought someone got shot. You ever hear a tire blow on the highway? Wowzers. All right. Anywho, Think and Grow Rich. That was crazy, man. That was absolutely crazy. What the hell's going on? Think and Grow Rich. Single greatest impact on my life. I realized after reading that book that anything was possible. Anything was possible. Anything was possible. That if you just think differently, that's it. Oh, think differently. It works, man. Let me tell you, it works. It works. Because I can tell you how I used to think as an employee, and I hated my life, and I can tell you how I think now as an entrepreneur, and I love everybody that I ever get a chance to meet with, including I hope you and I, if we haven't met right yet, that we do have a chance to meet sometime. I love everybody I talk to, meet, speak on stages for. I love it. So it's all because my thoughts created different decisions in my life to make. And the decisions that I started making really perpetuated all these new actions that I was going to take. And the new actions that I took led to prosperity in my life that I never, ever in a million years would have thought was imaginable. Now, keep in mind, I went bankrupt, borrowed money from my sister, again, for the 8 millionth time, bailed me out of a couple different situations. But I knew I was onto something. you know? So it wasn't like just a linear straight line to the top. That's not what's going to happen when you quit your job. It's going to be some zigzag, some back down, up again. Let me tell you, man, the roller coaster metaphor, you know, riding that roller coaster today, the one thing I tell my daughters, because we talk about graduation day. My daughters started a month ago riding roller coasters for the first time. We started in a little kiddie area at Kings Island, went on the Woodstock Express. Now my oldest, 12-year-old Madeline, rode the Vortex today, which is a corkscrew, upside down, blah, blah, blah. And we're riding the Beast, me and my girls. Think about that. I ride roller coasters with my 12-year-old, 8-year-old, and 7-year-old daughters every day. My wife won't ride roller coasters. She hates them. So it's a metaphor, man. The rest of your life after you quit this job you're in right now, it's going to be that. But you know what always happens at the end of the roller coaster? You end up safely back. Because you got that harness around you, and you got the seatbelt around you. And I think that's a great metaphor and a visual for, that is your dream and that's your passion that keeps you strapped in the entire time. Because you got to know why you're doing this, man. I was doing it because I wanted to be a dad, and I wanted to prove everybody. I had a chip. I had no problem telling you. I had a chip on my shoulder. I still do. I'm here to prove everybody wrong, that you can make every day Saturday, and you can do whatever the hell it is you want to do in life. But like we talked about in the last video, you got to change the people you're hanging around. Because if you keep hanging around people that don't believe that's possible, nothing is going to change. I mean, nothing is going to change. So as we talk about maximizing time, and I would ride down those highways, and I'd listen to Tony and Zig and Jim Rohn and Les Brown and all those guys, I started changing my mind. And that time spent in my car in the commute was just like this. And I started thinking, Les Brown's right. If you do aim for the moon and you land on the stars, what's wrong with that? Tony Robbins is right. Jim Rohn is right that you can adjust your sails, because the wind is always going to blow on your boat, but it's how you adjust your sails that makes the difference. Robert Kiyosaki's right. The rich dad did think differently than the poor dad. And I would go to the library, the freaking library, you know, where you get free books and stuff? Not Amazon.com, not Barnes & Noble, nothing like that. I would go to the library, Cincinnati Public Library downtown, where I got a parking ticket every time I went there because there's no parking spots. And I would take out all the Rich Dad, all the Tony Robbins, all the CDs, and I would just load them into my car. And I would just drive around on my lunch, and I'd eat out of a brown bag, and I would just listen. I'm like, they got to know something. I mean, Tony's on every channel every night between 11 at night and 6 in the morning. He's got to know something. Les Brown's on stage is talking to 70,000 people. He's got to know something. Jim Rohn's the godfather of personal development. Certainly he knows something. The great philosopher. Sorry for the sun glaze in the car here. Try to get it out. I'm almost home, actually. And that didn't take long. We're going on about 18 minutes or so. It's a 5-mile ride, by the way. My mind started shifting. And man, let me tell you something. When my mind started shifting, I felt reborn. I could feel a brand new Sam Crowley coming out of me that I never even knew was inside. I never knew, and it made me so powerful. And here's the funny part. My whole focus was on quitting my job, but my performance at my job became that much better. Because, see, I was making myself more accountable. I was learning more. I was putting more responsibility on me. I was becoming more self-reliant. I wasn't blaming anybody anymore. And the irony was that as this whole mission to leave my job and bombard my mind with personal development was going on, my income at work and my promotions I had 3 promotions in 4 years after I started on this road of personal development. Keep in mind, my journey didn't even begin until the millennium, really, to the turn of this 2000, turn of the century, about personal development, motivation. Isn't that wild? It hasn't been that long. And within 4 years, I had 3 major promotions, and life was really good, but I wasn't going to settle, man. I was still on that mission. I was still on that mission that I was going to create something incredible. Because remember the last video, I talked about my podcast. I was starting to create that. I was blogging. I didn't know what a blog was. I didn't know what a podcast was. I thought a website was something like you had to work at NASA to be able to, have any type of say over how it got built, or anybody that you could even talk to build it for you. I know all that stuff was like voodoo to me, man. But I didn't let it get in my way. And why didn't I let it get in my way? Because of the time that I invested behind this windshield here. Really changed my mindset. And I want this video to do that for you. I want so much for this video series to change your life. And maybe it already has. Leave a comment. Look, you got to leave comments. Why? Not because, I need to stare at them to boost my ego. I want everybody coming to this YouTube channel to see how the videos have impacted you. And when 2 or more people stand together, right, in agreement, it's going to happen. So you got to leave a comment on how these videos are helping you and what you're doing in your life as well, because people will be empowered by that. This video is never coming off of YouTube. They're all staying on there. And I hope this video series so far, this is video number 3, number 4 if you count the introduction video, which had some great nuggets in it as well, geared to one purpose and one purpose only, for you to learn from an individual that's actually done it. I'm not talking any theory, any philosophy. I've actually done everything I've told you about. And I want you to bombard your mind. And I want you to get in the mind work of, I am an entrepreneur. Just say it. I am an entrepreneur. I am my own brand. Just shout it. Just roll your window down like this, man. Say, I am my own brand. There's my neighborhood. Everybody's staring at me while I see him screaming out his window, I am my own brand. It's because I believe it. People may call me crazy. I think they're crazy. I think if you're not yelling out your window that you are your own brand, you're crazy. Because if you're not going to believe it and own it, who's going to? You got it? Are we cool? So I'm pulling into my driveway here at the Crowley compound. I appreciate you taking me home. I really appreciate you staying plugged into these videos. And I hope today you learned the power of maximizing time. We had a little bit of, a lot of good stuff going on. We had the Cintas truck that blew out a tire. That was pretty wild. Not good stuff, just wild stuff. And a lot of great, here comes a guy that cuts my grass. I got to cut the video short. My name's Sam Crowley, founder of the world famous EverydaySaturday.com. I love you guys. I love your dream. Quit your job, but not too soon. I'll see you on the next video. You are a champion.
Daddy, it's tomorrow Saturday. It's tomorrow Saturday.
Because she wanted to spend the day with you, right?
It's the only day we saw each other.
I was a stressed out corporate slave. I never saw my family, John. John, it's taking, he said take it. He said take it!